Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed resource person for today's workshop on unfolding the potential of Excel, advanced features and functions. Dr. Mushtaq, he is a PhD tech in pharmaceutical chemistry. He is an associate professor at Vivekananda Education Society's College of Pharmacy. He has an extensive experience in pharmaceutical research and academia. He has served at Bombay College of Pharmacy and Resourc, and he is actively contributing to computer-aided drug design, molecular simulations, and organic synthesis. He's a strong advocate of technology in research. Dr. Shaikh integrates Excel, Google Sheets, and coding, including VBA, Python, and computational tools to streamline data analysis, automate workflows, and enhance research efficiency. His expertise extends to organizing 16 college, state, and national level events, presenting 29 posters at various academic platforms, and publishing 26 research articles, 5 reviews, and 3 book chapters at national and international levels. His contributions to scientific advancements have been recognized with numerous awards, including the Best Emerging Scientist in Drug Discovery at Focus India 2006 and a gold medal at Avishkar 2023. Additionally, he has secured research grants of approximately 27 lakhs with funded projects from University of Mumbai, DBT, and VIDIA. With a deep understanding of Excel's advanced features, Dr. Mushtaq has helped faculty and students to streamline their work and enhance productivity. Today, he will guide us through some of the most powerful aspects of Excel, demonstrating how we can use it efficiently to solve real-world problems and improve decision making. We are privileged to have him here with us, and I'm sure this session will be an enlightening experience for us all. Let us all welcome Dr. Mushtaq with a round of applause.
Asha madam, for that lucid introduction of mine. Give me a second, please. Well, so let us start our discussion and learning a bit more about Excel sheets. Madam, they're about to put the topic as unlocking Excel's most potential or full potential. I requested Madam that nobody will be able to cover that topic and claim that full potential of Excel has been covered. So I have been using several softwares till now in last 20 years, but Excel is something that I have used everywhere. Everywhere means everywhere, whether it is planning of education of my son, or maybe travel to any place, or maybe budgeting, or maybe doing a lot of academic and research work. So it all began long back in 2005 when we were taught using Excel at master program at Naipar Mohali. So there we learned just for the sake of learning, as all students would do. But later on, while when I was working in Bombay College of Pharmacy, I started working on my PhD work, and my work was repetitive. So that is the word, repetitive. And whenever such kind of things are there, you would want to automate the things. And my most of the data was numbers. So that is why I came into the word of Excel. Moreover, later on, I was made the exam in charge of Bombay College of Pharmacy, and principal at that time, Professor uh, Saraf. He told me that why don't you go to SP College and talk about with one faculty who has developed one examination software in Excel, and it will help us to be more prompt on putting the results rather. So I went there. That fellow was little bit kind of arrogant. I should not say that, but he was arrogant, and he was saying that I will charge and I will make something called as VBA for you, and then you will be able to use. I will give you support. So I came back. As the things will happen, that college will not be able to sponsor such kind of activities. Then I thought that I was using already Excel that and a little bit of macro I was taught, but now then got into solid the things, and then it started clicking to my interest into that. So before we begin, I will request that some of the uh, offline sheets will be using to understand that how Excel can be used for our purpose. So this Google Drive is available with this link. You can download files out there, and then we will be able to use it. Right? If not now, I'll be showing how to use them. If not now, you can download it later, and but save the at least picture of this code. Going ahead, what I am intending to discuss with you all today: data handling and cleaning. Right? So lots of data from other, just like now, just a moment ago, Mr. Suraj was telling me that we get a lot of data from DT, and then that needs to be curated. Similarly, one data I remember last year when we were going for NAT, we had to curate the data of the enrollment numbers. So this is where this kind of things will come handy to us. So importing data, cleaning that data, managing such kind of databases, then putting some formulas to that, like lookup, statistical array and function, data visualization and pivot table, summarizing and presenting different forms of chart, automation with VBA and macros, which will save your time, optimization and solver. So few add-ins, we'll see that how they can be used over here, and some hands-on exercise, case studies, real-world application. So let us get into it and try to learn Excel. First and foremost, that some data is there, I want to import it into the Excel. So let us open our Excel sheet. Yeah, before we go ahead, I would like to share you that while preparing for this lecture, I found lot of material with Excel itself. Like you can see over here, if it is readable to you, beyond pie chart, pivot table tutorial, formula tutorial, some uh, welcome kind of teaching for the Excel, Power Query. This is now getting. We will not be learning that, but that is all. That tutorial also available, and I'm leaving. Maybe if you can explore it later. So my practice sheet. This is also shared with you all. Okay. Right. So that's what he said, that we will try to import the data. When you want to import or export the data, most of the time you would do two things: either save the file as such. Sometimes it happens, particularly when it is coded, particularly when your Excel sheet is coded, and when you try to upload in an email, it will not connect. It will say some virus was found. So in that case, then you'll have to upload it without that, either simple Excel, or maybe you have to export the data in form of a CSV, which is comma separated file, or tab file, which where there is will be separation between the two columns by a tab or sometimes spaces, right? So we need to import that, right? So what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to import one of the file from CSV, which is comma separated file. So the CSV file will take very less amount of space, That's why sometimes we would want to share directly the CSV file, right? So that it will be easy for you to upload and download, right? So let's say from I went to data panel. From there, I just click the import button from text and CSV, right? So there are two files I can see there. One is already a CSV file and other one is a tab separated file. Let me first open the CSV file. So whenever you open the CSV file, it automatically detects and identifies comma as the separator. And most of the time it reads it properly, like one of the file which we have just loaded. Okay, it has loaded it properly and it has loaded in the form of a table, right? So at times, a lot of function we can do with table. For example, I could directly sort the things from here when it is already in the form of table. Otherwise, also, if something was already in Excel, which you can select and right click, the option will be available that do you want to convert this data into a table? So that looks good, right? So till now, whatever we had been typing this thing, right? They were not appearing like this, right? So with our experience in Westcop, we have learned that when you are handling the data of 100 students, it will be always good to have such color coding. So you know that which student you are filling the marks for example, right? So that was importing the data from the CSV file, right? What I will do, I'll now clear this off and we'll try to now import a tab file. So again, go into data, text file. Let's say one of my data set from CAD, right? So what I'm doing, I'm not asking it to transform it. I'm asking it to load. Again, it has loaded in the form of a table. So fortunately, what has happened that it has loaded automatically into two columns. Just for example, likewise, you can see over here in this particular column, right? How it is separated. I'll just make it more visible, right? So what you can see that there are columns which should have been separated out, and the separator was, let's say, underscore, right? So let's say I want to separate it out into two columns, right? So what I can do, again go to data, okay, and there is the option available, text to column, right? So it is asking me whether your data is delimited, means separated by something or not. If yes, I'll click yes. And what I'm saying that my separator is a underscore thing, right? So you'll observe that it has automatically made two columns out there. And now, right? So you could see that whatever was there, okay, it has separated into SPE1, SPE2, SPE3, 8, 11, so and so forth, right? So this way we have separated the data into two columns, correct? So let me do that thing otherwise also, like just copying and pasting the thing. Clear. Right? So we can also copy paste the things at times, like this thing I had put Control A, Control C, right? Again, it has taken it automatically, so I need not worry over here, right? But when it does not take, when you are directly copying something from a text file and pasting it, sometimes it does not get separated out, and everything gets put in one single column only. So every entry goes to new row, and then you have to separate the things out. This is how you can separate by using text to column, right? At times, what will happen that you may have duplicates, right, out there, and you want to remove that. Okay, so there is again one option over here. It is asking that what kind of duplicates you want to separate out, whether from both the column or only from one of the column. Let's say, for example, I just want to separate out duplicates from first column. So in this column, what are the unique things? SPE and one blank cell. So let's see if it is able to do that. What I have done, I have selected only column one. So you'll see that it has only selected the SPE, and then the next column, next row is blank actually. It has deleted everything other than that, right? So sometimes we are putting the names of student one below another, names of molecules or names of formulation, right? So at times it might happen that same row, it is not necessary it has to be one cell. It could happen that same row, marks of one student has been repeated twice, right? So then you can find out that thing by deleting the duplicates, right? So that was my next thing I wanted to share. Okay, let's go ahead. Right. Next thing is conditional formatting, right? So let's say I'll paste again my data, which I just copied earlier from the text cell, right? So what I want to do in this particular cell, that I want to, in a just one glance, I want to identify the which are the things which are less than, let's say, okay. So what I'm observing over here, there is one space. So let me just segregate this column so that there is no problem over here. Space, right? Okay, that works very well now. Okay, so what I'm trying to find out, that in this column, how many values are there? Just visually, I want to identify and I want to put some data in front of them. Like, for example, some students are failed and I want to apply the some sort of ordinance to them, right? Just for example. So let's say what I'm trying to do. I just selected it out. Okay. When you select the data, entire data, it nowadays it gives you this sort of tab out there. Otherwise, it is also there in conditional formatting up there. Okay. Going ahead. So point is that I want to find out something over here, right? So I want to find out values less than or maybe greater than. Yeah, let me take that example directly. So it has just highlighted whatever values were, whichever more than 6, they are now highlighted directly, right? So that way we can conditionally format the data. A lot of permutation and combination we can do, right? Like if you remember in COVID, we used to do one analysis. Initially, I started there that whosoever has submitted or not submitted, then names used to get highlighted and you were calling them and asking that please submit your answer sheet. You have not uploaded it, right? So that way we can do this kind of thing, right? Then going ahead, sorting. Okay, I'm very sure everybody is aware about the sorting thing, right? So let's say I want to sort this column with C. Okay, so what I generally do, okay, data. Oh. It is available under home, sort and this thing, right? So ideally you can directly sort it out, right, by just applying to this. But what I do generally, I just apply the filters. Okay, so what I will do, I'll add a row over here first, insert, so that I can give some title to do it. Molecules, number, and activity. Just for example. Okay, so generally what I do, I just apply the filter. Okay, now this also comes very handy to me. Here also I can apply those filters very simply. So number filter, like for example, I want to find out the entries which are greater than 9, just for example. And you can even put at least 2 different types of criteria there, right? So you can see that it has sorted me, figured out 3 cells, 3 rows rather, with where the values were more than 9, right? So it also comes very handy, and it's like forward, you can just copy these 3 things, okay, and paste in another window, I will say, and only those 3 values will be copied, right? It is not that other values have gone somewhere, they are missed. You have to just clear off the filter. There is the option clear the filter, then entire data is again visible, right? So it becomes very handy to quickly copy and paste the data in other places. Okay, going ahead, search and replace, right? You're all aware, it is nothing that I mean a novel thing I'm talking about, but what I'm trying to talk about over here is replace in a formula. At times what happens, that formula gets corrupted and you figure out, array, I had copied the formula and some column name and something needed to be changed, right? So what we can do, that I can just find out, for example, A1 from that particular formula and replace with C1, just for example, right? So here I have to say look into the formulas. So it can look into the formula and you will be able to replace it only in the formula, right? So that way we can play with. Okay, it is not that every time we have to go and edit every formula. That's what we used to do. I used to do in my earlier days, right? So you can one go replace all the formula accordingly, right? Now, since we are just now talking about formula and cell address, okay? Just for example, if I'm trying to put the formula for summing up, sum up, let's say this column, right? It comes out to be 209, some value, right? And when I copy and paste it, what is happening? What will happen? It becomes 0. Why it is becoming 0? Because when I'll click this, I'll figure out that when I move the column, move the formula by 2 rows, what happened? Even the address in that formula changed. Okay, I'll just share. It was some CC, it has become some EE. What you can do about that? Okay, so what we can do about that? Just putting a dollar sign out there. Dollar C and $C before the column name in this particular case, right? So when I'll copy and paste it, that should not change. You'll be able to see it is still there. Got the point? And even if I'm trying to drag it out, okay, you know, when we drag, same thing happens. But here, when you drag it out, that address does not change. So whenever you want to fix the address in a formula, you'll put dollar against that column name ABCD and against the row name if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, you want just that number of the. I'll just put it for example. C1. Now this is very interesting example. C1 to C1. Let me do that. Is equal to, now I want to do a cumulative sum. Just look at that sum. $C2. So I don't want this address to change, but I want the next thing to change. Do you observe it? What I have done? Okay. Enter. And now see what will happen. This is cumulative sum. Means in this row, it is sum of this. In this row, it is sum of these 3 column. Then sum of these 3 column, 4 column, 4 rows, 5 rows, 6 rows. That way I have done. Right? At times, such kind of things we would want. Right? Okay. So it will help us to do this kind of calculation by just changing the dollar sign out there. Okay. Right? Data types and formats. That you wanted? Acha, I'll select this. Right? So that was a simple trick which I learned after a long struggle. Now at times it happens that I'm just typing some text. Then can we proceed? I'm typing some text, right? Something like this. And now I want to go to next line in the same cell. Can we do that in Excel? Yes, we can do that. Okay. Alt enter is the key. Alt enter, and then I'll be able to type. So when, let us put it that way, you'll see that there are 2 lines now, right? If something else I want to type, alt enter, I can type, right? Okay, simple, right? So we'll be able to write more text, and that may not be overwriting each other, right? Okay, let us come to cell type, right? So I am very sure you are all aware about this setting in Excel to change the types, right? So over here, you'll see that if I want to increase or decrease the decimals, I can do it. Okay. If I want to convert to percentage, I can do it. Okay. But sometime I want something really different. I want 2 zeros to come before the number, right? For example, there was a column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then 100, and then 2000. And when you try to sort it, what will happen? 1 के बाद 10 आएगा और 10 के बाद 100 आएगा, फिर 2 आएगा. Correct? It happens many a time, right? So what we can do? We can change the formatting of the cell. Okay. Like here you will see in custom formatting. Okay. Niche, this is there. Okay. I don't know if I'll be able to zoom it. Okay. So let's say, for example, I'm just trying to put this setting. नहीं नहीं, it won't zoom. हाँ, magnifier से I can do that. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see over here, just for example, I'm selecting one of these settings. Okay, and let's see what happens to the formula. Right. So it said that there will be a one number. After that, there will be a what point followed by two numbers. Rest all you have to hide. That's what that formula was saying. So if I put more four hashes there, okay, just like if I'll be putting it over here, format cell. Let us try to put several hashes before it and see what happens. Okay, so that way we can play with the different formattings are available. There only you can define if it is a date, what type of date it should appear, if it is DDMMYY or 1st March 2025. That way we can select from that cell typing. I hope that is clear to you all, right? So now next we'll proceed to next section. Some of the important shortcuts. Okay. Now, at times what happens that we want to paste the data as such. Okay. So whenever we are copying from, internet and we copy in our this thing, entire formatting changes. Okay. So your key will be Control Shift V and quickly the data will be copied as such. Right. There is another option. Sometimes we want to convert the rows to the column and column to the rows. That also is the case at times. It happens. So Control Alt V plus T. All the four buttons need to be placed together. Toggle filter on and off can be done by Control Shift L. Time setting can be changed to AM and PM by Control Shift @ Control Shift and ampersand rather. Apply border to the selected cell, right? So I'm very sure that you are all aware that borders can be applied over here. I would like to just share this more borders. Okay, so you can select a number of borders and then you have to put it across the thing, right? So that particular cell will appear differently, as you can see down there, differently border, right? So different borders you can apply. Okay, coming ahead with at times sheet becomes so heavy that it does not calculate, and at times you don't want it to calculate. नहीं तो क्या होगा आपको कुछ edit ही नहीं करने देगा, and then you will be stuck. So we can stop that calculation. We can put that setting under the formula bar. Okay, so calculate sheet, this option is there, or calculation options are there, right? So we can say that no, I want to do manual calculation. You please don't do any calculation unless I ask you, right? So when will put this formula on, maybe setting on manual, right? No calculations will be done. You just will be inputting the thing, okay? And when you say calculate now, then it will calculate everything. Otherwise, it hangs when the data is too much, right? So I guess this is the this setting will help there. Okay, don't have to come every time to calculate now. Control Alt F9 will help you, right? So many are there, but yeah, we just shared about Alt plus Enter earlier, right? So number of things, Control L, Control D, right? Control D can be used to, let's see what it does. Control and D. What we see that the line above is copied as such down there. Okay, if I want to put the same thing, something I had typed over here, and I want to put the same kind of formatting, just for example, okay, in some other place, Control Y, right? Control Y will help us. Some formatting you did, and you want to copy the same formatting. Like here we did, I just want to do Control Y. Quickly you can copy the formatting. Okay, we are not copying the content, we can copy the format. Okay, same thing like we had done earlier, some typing. Okay, I'll do it, and I want to do it again. So F4 works there. Let me check on my laptop if function F4 works, right? Okay. In text they said that F4 will work, but on my laptop Control Y works for this particular purpose, means copying the formatting or copying the content. Now let us come to the essence of the thing, right? So there are again so many formulas, okay, which we could have, studied today, but some of them which we quite often use, right? For example, putting numbers in a column. Okay, if 100 students are there, what we do? We type 1, 2, 3, and then we'll drag it till 100, right? The formula is very simple, is equal to sequence. How many rows I want? I want 100 rows. Only one column. Start from 1 and at a step of 1, there we, right? So we got the number from 1 to 100, right? So if you want to take a step of 2 also, that will be also possible. Okay, so that is only that how you play with the things. At times what will happen that you want to convert different formulas to text, different values to text. What happens at time when you are copying something from internet and put it in the formula? Yeah, sequence. Acha, okay, sequence ka formula, right? So I'll put it this way. So yeah, that is another thing, that when you click over here, right, entire help is provided. Okay, so right, so you get entire help. For example, I want to use sum, right? It will tell me that what you have to actually do, right? So first time when you are running, you can take help from that particular way. Okay, that what that formula is about and how you have to work around with that. So it gives you complete help. Okay, going ahead, text join, concatenate. These are two formulas. At times you want to club two columns, okay, and make different. You can say what will you say, that number and text both together, right? So that way, if you want to merge two column, then we can use text join. Okay, the same thing is join in case of Google Sheet, right? So let's say for example, I'll use concatenate over here, right? Concat. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, text one, then I'll put under inverted comma something, let's say hash. Anything which is not the cell address have to be always put under the colons, right? So what we are saying, that whatever was written in formula text bracket double hash, it has come text join. So these two cells I have, what I have done, concatenated, right? A simple trick is also there for that, and ampersand is equal to this and inverted and doing the same thing again and this formula, right? So that's how we can do that kind of thing, right? So particularly if I want to find out duplicates, that will happen. For example, there are many Yadavs in a class and many Sharmas in the class and many Sachins in a class, okay, and you want to find out Sachin Sharma, right? Okay, but their names were and surnames were into different column, then what to do, right? That will be one way, that create one column, this concatenate, drag it, and then figure out where that person is there in that particular cell, right? So that helps that way. Okay, right? So sort and sort by, these are some of the things. Okay, if something was already, I'll just put, maybe I suppose I'll be able to put, yeah. Okay, so other than the GUI which we have in Excel, sometimes we want to sort the things in one simple place. Okay, we don't want to sort entire column. If you do that, then entire column will be sorted, right? So then how to go about it? Okay, let's say just for example, I want to sort this thing, okay, by increasing order of the activity, right? I'll select this columns and enter, right? So it has taken its sorting by column 1. You can observe 1 के बाद में 11 आया, 12 आया, and last में then somewhere 2 and 21 will come, right? Okay, but I did not want it that way to happen, but I wanted to sort by the column number 2, increasing order of the activity. So it is saying that I need to open that magnifier. Right, so in that particular cell, okay, what is saying? Sort index, right? So I want to sort by column number 2. Sort order, it is saying 1 or -1 for ascending and descending. So let's say I want to do it in ascending order. Sort by column. So that's what we can see. That data is now sorted out, okay, accordingly, right? So there was one special thing which we have used. We had written 2 over here. If I had written 1, then it will appear in the right order of the rows also, right? Okay. So that way we can actually use the thing in the same place. Okay. Sort, that was one of the thing which I wanted to show you. Then filtering. Okay, we can even do filtering, and sometimes we want to select only unique. Okay, so let me try that. If it can select unique only. If you want to select only unique from a given set, then I use this thing. So unique, and then select that range whichever you want to take the data. Okay, so let's say I column. Only unique numbers will appear over here, right? So that is another thing I wanted to share with you. Then lookups, right? So horizontal lookup and vertical lookup. These are two of the things which I use very, very, very oftenly. So let's go to that particular thing. Okay, lookups. Maybe I'll make another sheet for that. Okay, so what I want, that there were 1,000 rows. Okay, and from that I just wanted to find out the activity for this particular molecule, right? So what we will do, formula is VLOOKUP, vertically lookup, automatically many time it gives, okay, where I want to search in these two columns, comma, the column index in which I want to search, whatever I want to return, okay, so I want to return the value from column B, that is 2, right? So if it was somewhere in between, it need not be AB, it will be CD, comma 2. If it was B to E, it can be comma 4, right? So we have to first figure out that which column number I want to return the value, comma, okay, I'm sorry, what is happening? I'm trying to search this string where in this range, what to return is second, and I'm now writing false. I'll tell you shortly why that false is being added, right? So it will return the value which was in front of that particular thing. Let us check 31, 9.8249, correct, right? So this way, same way I can use HLOOKUP, where there will be 2 rows, and 2 rows may say you want to select one of the values, same way, same thing, right? So first thing will be what string you want to search, second after comma what range you want to search in, after that what column and row you want to return, and fourth will be false. False is saying that as such, search it as such. At times it can search in parts also, right? Okay, so same values it can return whichever comes first, right? Then there is another thing I want to figure out that ye hai kidhar actually, right? This string is where this string can be found, right? So the formula is match, which also I use very often. Match, what I want to match, this value, where I want to match in this column, okay, Exact match के लिए it is asking if I want I have to paste 0. I am saying yes 0. Exactly you have to find out, right? That's over, right? So it says that in this particular cell, in this particular thing, it is in the number of 18th row. Okay. Now why I would want that? Okay. Because in some of the formulas, I want to know the number and I just want to maybe revert the entire row, right? Just for example, okay. Let's say the formula is called as index. Okay. So let's say this array. Okay. What I want to return. Okay. I'll just again magnify it so that you are able to see it. So what I'm trying to do, I selected what range. I'm saying that you may just row number 21 and column number 2. So wherever this value will be there, row 21, column 2, okay, will it revert? Okay. So I mean, this thing cannot be used singly, right? So what I'm trying to say over here that at times formula सिर्फ एक string नहीं रहेगा. It will be number of things which will be appearing, right? Okay. Just for example, I'll use if now. Formula is if, right? So what I'll say that if this value is found, okay, in this particular cell, okay, then revert this particular thing. Just for example, let's say if this value is greater than 5, then revert, comma, pass, or else revert fail. Right? So since the value was more than 5, right? The selected value was more than 5, it has reverted me pass, right? Now that condition was very simple over here if that value was greater than 5. But at times this value will be a big array of chunk of thing, right? Okay. And then many a time I use it for making a lot of decisions based on this thing, okay, that whether I want to go ahead or not, right? So if this is the case, right, then do this. Okay. Another one very nice formula I want to share. When we put formula after formula after formula after formula, right? Like for example, yeah, that is the right time I must share one of my sheets. Give me a moment. I don't know why. Yeah. In this sheet, you will see that percentage of attendance were there for the student, and then I wanted to calculate the marks for them. And you are all aware that the calculation of marks is based on the ranges, right? So that's what I did. I was not looking for each one of them, right? So you will see that there is a formula. I'll again use magnifier. Now just observe this formula. It is a nested formula. What we call it, nested formula. What I said, if the value was between 90 and 100, okay, so I used and there. If the value was between 90 and 100, so I have to define the upper value limit kya hai, lower limit kya hai. Then you have to revert, okay, something, and then that is how it was calculated, right? So you'll see that it is calculating the percent attendance as well as it is giving you the exact marks for that particular, right? So just a little bit of little bit of hustle making in that such a big formula, right? But what we can do, just drag and drop and it will be calculated for all the students. So repetitive work is to be reduced. That is the idea. Okay. So once you'll require, and nowadays, we have ChatGPT at our hand. Just type down that formula, right? Type down, and then it will make the formula for you. You just copy and paste, right? So another hurdle over here, when such nested formulas are there, the number of closing bracket should be equal to the number of opening brackets, right? If that is not happening, then it will say there is an error. Okay. That reminds me, at times errors will be induced. Like we look up, I am asking that look up this value into this column and revert the column number 2 के अंदर जो भी value है वो. But what is happening that this value was not at all there, right? For example, I am trying to figure out if trying to put the marks for one of the student, but unfortunately it has not cleared the earlier semester. उसका नाम ही नहीं list में, right? And I'm just trying to drag its internal marks, right, which he had appeared, okay, and then later he figured out कि नहीं वो तो fail हो गया, बाद में आना बंद किया, right? But my section it still has this number, okay. So that way we can figure out that when we look up is saying कि मिला नहीं, it will give us NA, right? So sometimes those NA look very bad, okay. So there is a hack for that, is equal to if error, right? So just type that equal to if error, whatever formula you may have, okay. I'm just putting blank things, okay, comma, and then whatever you want, not found or something. Yeah, maybe at times if you want to put it blank, right? So it will not write down that thing, or maybe it will do something else, right? So that kind of conditions we can put from that, okay. So those were a few formulas. I'll just go to my presentation, and if something is left out, we'll also talk about those formulae, right? At times, like we have said, we don't want to use multiple if, nested if, okay. So nowadays Excel also provides ifs, right? So here we can put multiple condition, revert a value if it is found, if it is found, then revert this value, right? Okay, that way we can do that by putting this formula as ifs, right? Same way, some ifs, right? For example, right, what we are trying to do, we are trying to figure out marks given by different student, okay. They had been putting, let's say for example in Excel sheet, some form was shared and everybody has put down the marks, okay. Maybe in your case, madam, everybody has put down their articles published or communicated in that Excel sheet, right? So their name will appear, and I'll write one review article communicated. I'll write 2 articles are accepted, right? So what will happen that these entries are separate. So I'll say that sum if from this column, if column 1 has the same name, right? So that is sum if, count if, these values, these formulas can be used to count the number of same occurrences, right? So maybe I can show you that, okay. Sum if, for example, range, let's say I want to sum if all the values which are or maybe I'll put it this way, sum if criteria. Now what is the criteria that we want to put, okay. What I will do, I will figure out the numbers which have 1 into them, okay. So let me put it this way, SPE underscore 1, okay. Let's say, what is it? I have made a compulsion that figure out wherever SPE1 is there. So it will be 1, 11, 10, anything, right? And I'll put a star in front of that and star. So here what we have done, we have actually applied this kind of logic there, okay. And so okay, anyway, that is the formula we can apply over here. So what is the formula? What is saying? Sum if AB, some condition, okay, and followed by BB. So अगर वो वैल्यू उधर मिलेगा तो सम करेगा. मतलब if you will find my name in column A, correct, then it will sum the B column, right? So my name will be in two places. One place in front of my name, there is number 2. Other place it is number 1. You can sum up these two things and then the answer will be 3. Correct? So that way we can also count if. Okay. So let me put count if ka thing. Count A and count if. These are three things which come in together. But let's say count if, okay, in this range, if the values are having, let's say again, I'll try that, SPE underscore 1 and star. It is finding some problem with okay, anyways, whatever be the case. So it has figured out there is one entry which has the name SPE underscore 1. Let me try again putting a star out there. It generally works. But I think in my version of Excel, it is not working. Oh, let me put. Yeah. So that star need to be put it inside the inverted commas. Okay. I'll again put count if SPE1 kitni baar aaya hai in that particular column. It has counted. The answer is 8. Right? So this kind of things we put at times. Okay. One more thing with the formula, and then we'll quickly move to the next thing, which is left and right. Okay. Let's say left. I'm trying left first. Okay. And let's see what it does. Okay. Comma 2. Can you tell me what has happened? Gopal? When I put left SP whatever 13, comma 2. The answer is SP. It has reverted only first two alphabets from that thing. Okay. Same way if I'll do with right. 13. Last two digits are appearing. That way at times we can play with the things together. Okay. So that is left and right. Okay. Now let us come to the important part. Okay. Calculations, right? So you can do a lot of things, simple things. Other than that, averages, standard deviation, which we'll be using every now and then, right? I'm very sure you're already aware about the formulas. Okay. Averages, counting, standard deviation, and different sort of simple statistics, right? So I'm trying to skip it, but not without the formula. Okay. The formula for mean is average. So automatically shows up, right? Formula for standard deviation is, anybody is aware? Standard deviation. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So you have to select the things. If you are not understanding it, you have to go to F and then, this side and figure out that how it will have to be put, right? So it will tell कि एक सेल लेना चाहिए कि आपको एक range लेना है. That's what it will tell you automatically. Okay. Right. Now pivot table. This is a very interesting thing. Okay. Right. Many time entries will keep on happening one another. Okay. So pivot table is many a times used. So I got a tutorial for that. Quickly we'll go through it. That is also available in our database also, right? So let's say such a data is available, right? Date wise, different types of expenses, let's say, right? And then we want to calculate the total thing. Okay. So we want to put everything together. We want to make a chart out of it. Okay. So what are the fields we need to identify, right? So what we are saying that first we have to convert the data to the table format, right? Okay. So let's say I'll start. So you'll see that there are many places the pivot can be found, even in formula, even in home, right? In data also pivot will be found under data model. Okay, so let's go ahead and just try to see that what is happening over here, right? So this type of thing I want, right? So what I have to do, I just select that thing, okay, whatever range it was, okay, and call for the pivot table, right? So maybe data modeling will help us, just selecting the manage data model, right? And then selecting that particular data, right? And it will show you in this particular format, right? So whichever things you would want, okay, it will put into over here, like over here, right? Pivot table. And my final data is ready in the form of a chart which we wanted, right? So it will quickly give you thing in this particular format, whatever I desired, right? So it is a very small data, but when the database, for example, if some of the students are thinking of doing QSAR or QBD, then they will have many columns and they want to select only few of them and then want to analyze that. That will help us. Pivot table, right? Then next thing was charts. Okay, I would also want you to go through it. Right. So, for example, this chart is available over here, right? So, you have to how you insert the chart, selecting any information available, right? And insert the chart from top there, right? So, a lot of options will be available, but this thing I like that it is suggesting that what kind of chart you should take. Okay. The important thing, this probably everybody is knowing. Okay. The important thing is that you can change the chart type. That is also possible, right? So when you select it, okay, chart design, and here different formats are available. Color can be changes, okay, layouts can be changed, right? So probably this thing you are not knowing, so you should try different ways, okay. So recently, while writing one book chapter, I had to put the number of instances that particular thing was published, right? So for example, I want to search in Elixir में कितनी बार आ गया, साइंस डायरेक्ट या let's say PubMed में कितनी बार आ गया, Google Scholar में कितनी बार search हो, right? So I wanted to search unique articles, so I use all these things, okay, and figured out what are the unique papers were there in Elixir, what were unique papers were there, Highwire, and different publishers, and then I have put one statistic that people are working on this particular research project more often, right? So that way, by using just simple statistics and simple ways of showing the table, we can do that. Okay. So that was different types of charts and pivot tables. Okay. Then this is interesting. I probably think that this will interest you all. VBA and macros, right? So most of the time it happens that we have to do one thing again and again, right? And then we have to do several operation behind it, right? And I'm not very good at coding, okay? Even I was not at good at coding when I started, right? So what we can do, we can write a macro, okay? Just for example, where we have to go? We have to go to developer, or even in view that macro thing is available. Write a macro, right? What I'm saying that record a macro, okay? So let's say what I'm trying to do, okay? I'm trying to write a macro, okay? Some name I can give. Okay, macro one is fine for me. And I can put some key against that, right? Are you paying attention? I can put a key against that. Let's say, for example, for now I put Control Shift M, Okay, so it has identified Control Shift M, and then I'm writing a macro just to copy this thing and paste over here as values, right? Okay, I'll stop the macro. I hope it does not make me fool over here, look fool over here. What was the shortcut key? Control Shift M. I did not do undo. Huh? I just press Control Shift M. The same thing is copied, pasted in the form of a text, right? So if it is repetitive thing, then we can do that. Okay. So that's how our mark sheets are generated, madam. Right? It reads every row, it identifies all the numbers, it writes to a new mark sheet and pastes mark sheet under mark sheet under mark sheet under, and this is how mark sheet for all the students are created, right? So now let's see how that macro looks like. View macros. So when we'll say view, we can edit it and a separate window opens up, right? So what it tells me that I can ask ChatGPT to make a macro for me, right? Just give it that I want to copy something from here and there, right? Okay, and then correct the things in a proper order or some repetitive thing I want to do, it can do for me, right? So for that we'll have to apply several types of loop, like for loop, okay, and sometimes while loop, okay, so or maybe if loop, okay. So that's how I do. For example, I would put for loop for these many rows, so it will first calculate the number of rows, okay, by some formula. As you can see over here, I'll just try to magnify it, right? So some kind of code you are seeing, it is very simple. Lot of vocabularies are available where you can figure out that what type of code you would want. Okay, many times you get free codes also, right? For example, I wanted a code for randomizing names, right? So maybe I'll show you that after this particular thing, that how I wanted to randomize it and how do I get the results. Okay, so thing is that like selection copy, very simple things are there. I mean the layman's language it is there. Copy this, select that range, copy that range, select other range, and then paste this thing as values, paste values, as you can see. Only that when you get used to it, it becomes very easy for you. Okay, there was a point. Now I lost the touch a bit with that, but at times I was writing my own codes. I did not run any macro. Okay, I was writing my own codes directly, right? So that way I can edit this. Okay, for example, I don't want this thing to run on some other sheet. So what I can put, if the sheet name is this, right? So that command will run only under that sheet only. It will not run on other sheet because it will first identify sheet name can, right? So that way we can play with macros and this thing. So I was showing you the spreadsheet for, give a second, randomization. I'll just show you that how that repetitive task can be done very easily, right? So I got these numbers, right? How many numbers they are? 19, right? We got 19 numbers out there, right? I want to randomize it several times, okay? So that and get only 10 numbers out of it, and I have to be very sure that only they are also done randomly, okay? So I'm running it, right? So now what I've done, I created a button. I'll show you how it is to be created. I created a button and assigned a macro to it, right? So when I clicked on that button, right, it is saying that how many times you want the scrambling to happen. Let's say 5 times I want to ask, and it's saying that how many numbers, 19 is the count. It is showing that now 19 is the count. Do you really want 19 or so come chahiye aapko? I'm saying that 5 number there 5 times. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, it is saying that result are saved in sheet 2. Now you see it. So 5 numbers selected from that, and that is done 5 times, right? So this way, I mean my repetitive work was solved in just click away, right? So I was showing that how to assign a macro to a particular figure. Developer, for example, if I want to put, I'm putting insert a button, for example, right? It asks me that which macro you want to assign to it, right? So let's say, for example, I'm putting, okay. So a button has appeared, and if I'll click on that, some code will start running. Clear? Very simple, right? Uh, I would want to show you one more thing, and then we'll close this thing and go to the more things which are connected, which is my, I'll say, greatest creation as far as Excel is concerned, right? So this is a software for gazette preparation and marksheet preparation, which I had been used for several years, almost 15 years I had been using it and updating it every time. Okay, so you can see that I put one, I'm sorry, you cannot see it, top take button hai. Yeah, can you see this button now? When I click that, something comes out there. A panel which I can move anywhere. It is not like button. Okay, right? So we'll see that how we can introduce that very shortly, right? And then this each button individually has been assigned. So menu has appeared actually, and I can do a number of things over here, right? So how can we do that? I'll just go to the macros again. I hope Alt F11 works for on this laptop. Alt function 11. Right, so you are seeing that lot of codes. Why I said greatest creation? Because thousand numbers of rows have been said put there, right? So whenever we add any macro, a module is generated, right? But if you don't want a module, but want a, so you see that level of security also is possible, so that nobody else can copy your, you know, this thing. So you'll see form, what you call it, form. So I'm just clicking on this, and the same form which appeared there is appearing in the macro, right? So I can go into VBA and I can insert a user form, right? So this way we can do, okay? And then user form, here I had connected with directly with the that button at the top, okay? Same way you can do something, you can create one button, when button is pressed, this form appears, and then you can do lot of things with that, right? So that way we can play with this form, okay? So madam, you were asking that how that forms appear on our different tools like academic calendar. Same way I done this kind of coding there also, right? In Google Scholar, Google Sheet. So when as soon as it starts showing you one. Yeah, can I open it? Academic activity. So whenever we are filling that thing, right? A pop-ups come, and then it's asks you like this, right? So I'm saying okay over here. Same way, on the same ideology, you can do scripting in Google Sheet also, but there the coding will be in JavaScript. It is VBA in Excel and JavaScript in Google Sheet, right? We can play with that, okay? I would like to even show that thing to you all, okay? App script quickly should load. Like you can see my script over here, okay? Right? So I've connected that thing over here, and it says that when you open it, function on open, I don't know if you are able to read, then it will show you, do you want to make some entries or something like that, okay? So that way coding was done behind it, and that is very easy to do, nothing great in that, okay? Likewise, let's go ahead and learn something more about our Excel. Okay, so now user form and controls we have learned. Okay, so you can write small snippets, small script you can assign to button on the form, and in one form you will have a number of script written over there. Okay, going ahead. Now this is what will interest to the students of PG. different types of analysis. Okay, अभी हम लोग RMB पढ़ के clear हुए हैं, right? Have you gotten your results? RMB के मतलब अभी तक नहीं clear हुए हैं, right? Anyways, but when you will be writing your thesis, right, you would want to do many analysis. So quickly I would want you to show you all application of such analysis. Okay, so this is our first example of regression. Okay, so let's say, student, can you tell me what this example is of? Dissolution study का data है, right? After some point time, and I want to figure out that what kind of data fitting can be done, whether it is zero order kinetics or first order, and first order can be done by two methods. Okay, Higuchi model and first order model. I may not be correct, but I'm just trying to say that this is how you can solve the problem. Okay, so as we know that our equations for a model will be generally the equation of a line, right? And every line can be written as y is equal to mx plus c, right? So given this data of hour and drug release, okay, I need to find out slope and intercept. C is intercept and m is slope, right? So there is again a formula, very simple formula. Right? Slope is equal to y values followed by the x values. Please note y values. Anyways, that formula also tells when just type slope bracket, it says select the y values and then select the x values. So that simple way can also be used for calculating the intercept. You can see y values b2, b1, b11 and a2, a11. Right? Why do we make such kind of models? Because we want to predict that what will happen at the let's say 11th hour. Right? Data for 9 hours given. For example, 10th hour ke liye I want to calculate. If I have such an equation, then I'll be able to calculate the value for 10th hour also. Right? So such kind of extrapolation can be done. So what my equation becomes? This is my equation. Y, I should have written y there. Y is equal to mx plus c. Right? So same thing I put over here. Right? I'll just put the formula. Right? And we can extrapolate. So I can say slope m multiplied by x10 plus 6.7, the number comes out to be 115. Right? Obviously, it is more than 100, which is not feasible, definitely. Right? But this way we can calculate. Right? Again, if you remember, if it is, let's say, first order way, if I want to do, okay, I may not be that right, but what I remember that you have to calculate something called as rate constant for that. Okay? So, what I have done that just by simply putting these values, okay, so in first order, what we use? Log. I think, yeah, it is over here, right hand side. Log release, okay. So you can see the formula, linear log of B3, whatever that value in front of that hour, or they are just taken the linear log. And the another model, Higuchi model, it depends on the square root. I hope you all recall, student, right? So I calculated from just that thing and then drag the entire thing, okay? And what we have done, hours versus log and hours versus this square root release, let's say percent release, we have plotted. Then what we did, just plotted kind of a trend line, right? So it is generally down there. Okay, just select the data. Okay, a panel will come. Okay, it will ask several things to you. Okay, and yeah, several options it will ask. Okay, since it is already prepared, it is not giving me that. Okay, anyways, let me try doing it again. It's not giving me. Never mind. Oh, trend line. Yeah. So you can actually we generally take linear line only. Okay, we are not talking about logarithmic or polygonal thing, right? And I asked you to give me the intercept. Okay, something like this. Okay. So what I understood from literature, okay, if you don't show the constant, if you don't show any intercept, you will get the very crude value of rate constant from this. Correct? And that is what I want. I want crude value of rate constant. Same way I did. So that value, okay, comes out to be, let's say, 6741. I'm just putting it 0.6741. Okay? Got my point? Now what I want to do, I want to figure out, could there be any way, right? Could there be any way where I can make the model better? Right? Okay? So I guess you are all aware that how it has to be calculated, right? So I have taken log 100 minus release, predicted release, then squared error from that, okay? And then made sum of that, okay? Now what I want to do in a nutshell, I want to reduce on this particular, what? I want to reduce on this particular error, which is, what is it? SEE. I reduce it and I would get the better results, okay? So let's say, where can we do that? Give me a moment. Yeah. Okay. So this is called as scenario management, right? So what we can do, data when we go, we'll see what if analysis, that is scenario management, right? So what we want to do, right? Scenario name, something I'll put, okay? Okay. And I'll ask it that you have to reduce this particular value, and I'll give that what you can change, right? So as initially you are seeing that zero value was over here. I had already run that particular analysis under the what if analysis, right? What if means scenario management, right? So it made it zero, right? And now you see that here it was 1.3, which I had put over here. Okay. So it has changed this value to 8.4. So what it's telling me that this model, Higuchi model, is better because it's giving me some number. Okay. It is not zero as it was what if analysis was doing. Okay. And then we'll be able to figure out that this is the ideal scenario, the rate constant for this particular analysis, right? So a bit thing, I mean, you have to deep dive into the scenario, but things are even better when you are doing it manually, right? Okay. So many times we have to use different types of, I'll say, analysis, right? For them, we need some add-ins, right? So what are add-ins? I'll show you first. When you go to file and when you click on option, one menu appears like this, okay, and add-ins will be able to see over here, right? So two add-ins particularly, analysis tool pack, and there is one more solver somewhere down. I'll be able to see. Yeah, solver add-in over here, right? They are available for doing lot of statistics. Okay, right? So what I have done over here, I'm just sharing you in a nutshell. This sheet is already available. Instructions are given on the right hand side that what you have to do, right? For example, if you are doing a formulation design, right? Okay, this data is already available. Okay, what is the data? That the initial concentration of different adjuvants and API. What is the lower limit? What is the higher limit? And what is its effect on the thing, right? So what we can do over here, okay? What I will do, just click the solver option. I'm just sharing one example, right? Okay, and that row, what is that? 4190. What is that? I'll just show you first. That is maximize total dissolution. What is that? How it has been calculated? By summing this row, 50 multiplied by 80 plus 10 multiplied by 10 plus 5 multiplied by 20 plus 2 multiplied by minus 5 plus 33 multiplied by 0. That is called as sum product. That thing is there. Now you see so many things. Just one formula and you are able to do that. Okay. So we are trying to reflect that how the concentration of these things are affecting on the dissolution. Correct? If I have that data, what I've done, some product. I want to reduce this sum product. Right? That is my idea. Right? So let's say, for example, solver, I want to minimize this value 4190. Okay. I don't know if you want to minimize or maximize, whatever. Okay. And I can put certain conditions. Okay. Conditions are given over here. Right. The total amount should be 100 gram. Each ingredient must stay within limits and dissolution should not be more than 80%. Right? So these things will come over here. How that can be done, but I'll share a while. Before that, what will be the changing variable? What is our changing variable? The concentration of the things which we are adding. Okay, that means column B, 50 to this one. So what is it? Yeah, I just put done there and it has selected. Correct? Right? So that is the initial amount is my column which I want to change. Right? Okay. And let's say something I put, I'll erase all of them and then we'll go ahead with. Yeah, we said the total concentration should be 100, right? And now I'm saying that minimize the value of the first sum product, that is concentration of the compound multiplied by its effect on the dissolution. Okay. Okay. The object of the cell must be a formula. Ah, yeah, I got it. This has changed. Give me a second. It is working. Yeah. So it will give you. So what it has done, just see. क्या हुआ जरा देखते हैं. अच्छा मैं बोलता हूँ keep solve the solution. Let's see if it has changed. Now the concentration has changed. Okay, it is very wrong. It is saying just add the lubricant because I had only added 100 there. Multiple conditions also, I would have gotten some logical solution there, right? So this way, it has reduced the solubility product some product, right? So you can get an idea कि अब मुझे next change क्या करना चाहिए, right? Same way, cost minimization. I want to reduce the cost. Okay, so what will be the concentration? Stability optimization. Based on humidity and temperature, I can find out the right condition for storing that material, right? So that way, solver is the adding. Okay. So what happens that when you don't have that adding, when I started, this adding was not there. Please note, this adding was not there. So how we are adding? Go to menu, option, then add in some solver add-in. You have to double click. You have to OK over here. Okay. There'll be a window will come. Actually, when I have added it directly, it is showing not showing that. And then you have to select that solver you add. So then solver started being seen over here, right? Before we end, I want to share two more examples. Okay, one is what if analysis, very simple one. Okay, now this is the scenario. Okay, sooner or later you will buy your own homes, right? So you will have this kind of scenarios. You want to know that which company I should opt for taking a loan, just for example. So again, same way, go to data, what if analysis. Let's say goal 6 I'll put, okay, right? Let's say B6, okay, I will have some capacity, okay, banks will also give you 60% of only loan of your salary. Let's say I have only capacity, right, of my EMI to be 1500 by changing the sale principal. So what amount of loan I should take, right? Okay. So now you can see that the value is 305 because only 15 I had put, 1500 डालता तो कुछ और number आता, right? So that way we can actually calculate the scenarios, right? Okay. Control Z. That was the original thing, right? At times you want to do it more often time, okay? Something like this, right? Here again, your scenario management can help us. Now this thing, I mean, now you see, I've created 3 scenarios, right? Let's see what is the scenario 1, edit 1, right? Here, these 3 things can be changed, right? The term, the interest rate, and the principal amount, okay? Let's see what about the next one. Same way, if I'll say okay, what happens? Let's just check. Okay, it can set the values for each one of them, right? Okay, so let's say these 3 scenarios I have identified. Okay, 2-3 banks are giving me 2-3 different options. I'm also seeing that I can afford how much. I'm also seeing कि मैं छोटे duration के लिए लूँ या ज़्यादा duration के लिए लूँ, right? Okay, so I like to say, right, scenario summary दिखाओ करके, and let's say put result in this cell, for example. So you can see that for all the 3 scenarios, it has created me an entire sheet. Now I'll be very clear that मुझे क्या करना है, right? So that way it can help you. What if analysis? 2 things are there. एक single scenario को आप calculate कर सकते हैं. If there are more than 1 scenario, you can calculate that also. Okay. So I hope you're liking this. There are few more things I would really want that, like T test, Z test, whatever test you have done, okay, they all can be done over here, right? Through data analysis. Now you see kitne kya kya, I'll just read out for you. ANOVA, one way, two way, correlation, correlation again, and what are this? Covariance, descriptive analysis, exponential smoothing, F test, histogram, moving average, random number, rank, percentile, sampling, T test. So many things we can do with this kind of thing. So I done few analysis. You can go home and just understand that how it was done. Steps are given over here, right? Select the data column, set alpha in that there. Okay. So let's say it was T test. So what I'm doing, I'm selecting the data. Just for example, T test. If you repeat, data analysis, pair T test. So pair T test are selected. It is asking, let's say I'll say new workbook पे लेके जाओ data. Okay. Variable 1, variable 2. Okay. So variable 1, variable 2, because T test we want to see whether two samples are same or different, with alpha being 0.05 over here, right? And I want the result to be in a separate sheet, for example. So separate sheet has open with my stats over here, right? Okay. So I would be interested in p values. Sorry. Yeah, p values. Okay. And based on that, we want to make a judgment, right? So over here, if you can see, the p value was less than 0.05. Two formulations are very not very different. Okay. Then whenever you can do for multi-group, right? Here also I got p values more than 0.05. 0.05 means 0.05 means my 95% of the significance value, right? Same way correlation analysis was done, and what I'm figuring out that these two things are very similar, 92% they are similar. So that way we can do number of things. And there is also one more thing like histogram you can create for finding out uncertainty in the thing, right? So now this is again a very big and good example. So here I use the sequence formula, right? I've used a random number generation formula. Okay. I'm not very sure if you're able to see it. Right? So I generated one random number 10,000 times. Okay. And then calculated the possible resolution or whatever value was there. Okay. So I had this data. What was the data? Drug stability data. That was the formula. Some values were with me. From that values, like this given over here, I've created this entire information and was just trying to see that जो data मुझे मिला है ये experimentation, whether that is foolproof or not, right? So this entire analysis you can try it at home, right? But my interpretation is that the mean drug concentration at 12 months, okay, so you can expect the formulation will be stable. The fifth percentile shows the lower bound drug stability. A higher standard deviation means greater uncertainty in the stability. So this is telling me, this analysis is telling me that this data is little uncertain. सब कुछ ठीक ठीक दिख रहा है. As such, when we are having the values over here, but when you treat it using this technique, okay, you also figure out that. Same thing when we draw on that chart of histogram, what we figure out that most of the concentration calculated or stability calculated with this data in hand, okay, will lie between 75 to 80% of the stability after 12 months, right? So there is a lot of things we can do, okay, and I'll again say that there is chat gpt available with us. Use it very wisely, right? And nevertheless a lot of other AI tools are also available. Excel is just beginning. There is R is available online nowadays. You don't have to do anything, just put the data and you can do the thing, okay? R studies that call. You can do a lot of prediction. VBA you can make on different tools. I mean, there's one tool called as scripting.io. You can do a lot of scripting there. Okay. Cloud many tools are available. Google Sheet is available, right? You know, Office 365 is available for you, right? And by using such simple techniques, we can do very effectively. We can present the data very effectively. So that's all. I hope you have learned. I don't know if you have learned most of the thing, but if you have learned 2-3 new formulas, I'm happy with that. So thank you very much. If you have any queries, you can come down. सिर्फ ताली बजा रहे हो समझा भी है, right? They can try. The sheets are already available. Just try. उसमें कोई problem आए तो then you come back, okay? Right? And otherwise also we will see that in future we'll do workshop. That will be better, but that workshop will be entire day, madam. है ना? हाँ.
So thank you, Mushtaq Sheikh sir. At the outset, I would like to thank Dr. Mushtaq Sheikh for giving us an overview of how effectively we can make use of MS Excel sheet. The first part of the session was catered more towards effective use in administration, like on a day-to-day basis, whenever the administrative staff is handling the Excel sheet data, maybe for the students or as part of the examination or the admin office. So how simple Excel functions and few advanced Excel functions can be used to sort as well as analyze the data. The later part of the workshop, it focused on how you cater to your research needs, especially whenever you are doing calculations which are based on dissolution studies, where we make use of the raw data. So many a times what happens, like one specific example, whenever we are doing any kind of analysis, let's say for in vitro release studies, and we are doing the calculation for cumulative amount release. So I got to know today that there is a direct function available by which you can just put up the formula and you get the cumulative release. Otherwise, we were going by the traditional approach of adding up each of the cells. So there is an error when you do that. So one advice, which of course ma'am also mentioned, that whatever worksheets are shared by sir through the drive link, a sincere request that whatever research work you are doing, even the statistical part, because every data, whenever you are putting it in the form of a report, you have to do the statistical analysis. So t-test, f-test, ANOVA, these are some simple statistical analytical tools which we have to apply before we publish that report or before it goes into the publication. So please get an hands-on those worksheets by putting in your own data. The phase 2 of this particular session would be a proper workshop where whatever data you have handled, sir will be monitoring whether you have applied the functions correctly to generate the data as per your needs. So I would like to thank sir for conducting this exhaustive session, and a request that we would be continuing with a full day workshop for the next session. And thank you R&D cell, Dr. Harsha Katpalia madam, for arranging this session. And I would also like to thank our principal ma'am, Dr. Supriya Shide, for supporting us to conduct such sessions. And I would also like to thank our collaborator, Indira Institute, where their students are also attending this session online through our YouTube channel. So thank you to Dr. Madhur Kulkarni ma'am and the students of Indira Institute, Pune. Thank you, and thank you to all the students for your wholehearted participation. See, the correct output or the outcome will be when you are applying it for your own data. That would be the major key takeaway, that you have learned something from this workshop. Okay, so thank you all of you. Thank you. Yes.